Buddhist sermon. Today's sermon is delivered by Venerable Professor Kollupitiye Mahinda Sangarakkita Nayaka Tero.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතු සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස චත්තාරීමානි පුන්න කම්මානි මයා සයං අභිඤ්ඤා ශක්තිකත්වා පවේදිතානි. Dear friends, today I have selected a particular sutta that find in the Majjhima Nikaya. The name of this sutta is Kukkura Vatika Sutta, the discourse of canine ascetic. Philosophically, this discourse is very important. When the Lord Buddha was staying in Kollupitiye state, Halidha Vasana village, the things happened that two friends called Punna and another friend called Seniya wanted to meet Lord Buddha. The Punna as well as the Seniya, they were ascetics. They also practice austerity, very special kind of practice. The Seniya, he practice Kuravata, that means canine ascetic practices. It means that he behaved like a dog. He take food like a dog. And also he lies on the earth like a dog. And his total behavior is like a dog. So it is a kind of vrata, kind of a severe ascetic practice. On the other hand, the Punna, he practiced bovine ascetic practice, go vrata. That means he behaved like a cattle. He drink water like a cattle, take food like a cattle, lies on the ground like cattle. His total life is like a cattle, like a cow. So this is kind of practice, severe practice. Normally it is so hard to practice this kind of vrata or the practice. So these two, for a long time, they have practiced these two kind of vratas. So when they came to know that the Buddha was staying in Kollupitiye state, especially at Halidha Vasana village, they thought that we should meet Lord Buddha. So one day, both of them went to see the Lord Buddha. The Punna, who follows the bovine practice, he saluted Lord Buddha. And afterward, he just selected a particular place to sit. But on the other hand, the Seniya, he is a Achelaka. Achelaka is unclothed ascetic. He never wears clothes, so naked ascetic. So he did not worship Lord Buddha. He just said hello to Lord Buddha and sat down in one particular place. After sitting or having a very congenial talk, the Punna, the ascetic, asked a question from Lord Buddha. That he said that, sir, this Seniya, he unclothed ascetic, he has been practicing canine ascetic practice for a long time. It is very hard to practice, very hard to follow that. This Seniya, unclothed ascetic, he followed a vrata or ascetic practice called kukkura, just like a dog. Our question is this: after his death, what will be his destination? Where will he take his next life, next birth? Buddha did not reply. He said that ma mang etang pucchati. Don't ask this question from me. Let this be like this. Don't ask this question. But the Punna did not leave this. He wanted to ask, he wanted to clarify this. So he repeatedly asked the same question. Finally, Buddha said that, okay, I will explain you. He said that if someone develop canine practice, kukkura vata, for a long time, kukkura silang bhaveti, if he practice the dog behavior for a long time, kukkura chittam bhaveti, if he practice the way a dog thinks for a long time, kukkura akappam bhaveti, if he maintain a mentality of a dog for a long time, kukkura vatam bhaveti, if he practice the practice of a dog for a long time, as a result of that, after his death, what would happen? He arises in companionship with dog. That means after his death, he may have a birth in an animal kingdom. He may have a birth as a dog. Kukkuranang sahavyang upapajjati. He will have a birth. Sahavya means with association with the dog. But he said that, Lord Buddha said that, if this person think in this manner, so that will cause this destination. What is that? Through this moral behavior, kukkura sila, kukkura vata, the austerity or the tapena, chastity, brahmacharya, I will become a deity, deva, or anyatara deva, a certain deity. If we think that after practicing this vrata or the austerity, I may have a birth in the heaven, Lord Buddha emphatically mentioned that this is a wrong view, miccha ditti. Sa assa miccha ditti hoti. This, the wrong view, miccha ditti, of course, create two results. What is that? Either he may have a birth in the either hell or in animal kingdom, tirachana yoni. So after practicing this particular austerity, adopting a behavior of a dog, ultimate result of practicing this is nothing but to be with the dogs. When Lord Buddha said this, Senior started crying. Then Lord Buddha told him that, I told you not to ask this question. I told you not to ask this question. After hearing, the senior again said that, I am not crying because of hearing your word. I am crying because I have been practicing this austerity for a long time. It is a vain, therefore I am crying. Simultaneously, the senior asked another question from Lord Buddha. He pointing his friend, the Punna, who follows the bovine ascetic practice. That means the person who follow a behavior of a cattle. He asked another question from Lord Buddha. This Punna also practicing bovine ascetic practice for a long time. He practice. He has a mentality of a cattle for a long time, and also he had a behavior like a cow for a long time. He asked this question from Lord Buddha. What is his destiny? What is his next birth after his death? Again, Lord Buddha mentioned that, do not ask this question from me. Let this be. You should not ask this question. But repeatedly, Senior wanted to clarify this, because Lord Buddha said that Senior will have a birth in animal kingdom. So he wanted to know, if a person follow the practice of bovine austerity, he may get another kind of birth. Buddha said, no. If he follow the mentality of a cattle, if he follow a behavior of a cattle, if he follow the bovine austerity for a long time, after his death, he may have an association with cattle. That means he may have a birth in the animal kingdom. If we think in this manner, being practicing bovine austerity, I may have a birth in the heaven as a deity, or I may have a birth in the heaven as a certain deity. This view, wrong view, cause him to be with the cattle. Lord Buddha emphatically mentioned, because he said that if a person hold a wrong view, he may have a destiny in the hell or in the animal kingdom, Tirachana Yoni. So that is the result of having or holding a wrong view. It is very serious. So that is why Buddha wanted to emphasize, a person, if he holds a wrong view, it gives a bad result. So when Buddha finally said this to the Punna, he also started crying. Then he again said that is why, Punna, I ask not to ask this question, and ask this question repeatedly. That is why I said this. After hearing this, the Punna again said that, the Sir, I am not crying because of your explanation. I am crying because of my the practice. I have been practicing this for a long time. Total time is vain. That is why I am crying. And he said, Lord Buddha, that I believe you. I believe you. Please tell us the teachings of the Lord Buddha. Then Lord Buddha, taking his request, he said that Chattari imani punna kammani. Punna, there are 4 kind of deeds. I say this after realizing this myself. What is this 4 type of deeds? He said, Atti punna kammang kanhang kanna vipakang. The punna, there is a deed which is dark and dark in result. The second is Atti kammang sukkang, sukha vipakang. There is a deed which is bright and bright in result. Third is Atti kammang kanna sukkang, kanna sukha vipakam. The deed that is dark and bright in result. The fourth kamma is that Atti kammang kanhang asukkang akannang sukhang vipakam. The deed that is not dark, not bright, and not dark and not bright in result. This is a very particular clarification. Now here Buddha divided an action into 4 categories. That is, some actions are dark, means bad. There are some deeds which are good, bright. There are some action which are good and bad, and also produce good and bad. There are some actions, they are not bad, also not good. Also, they are not good and bad. Those action does not produce good and bad. So this is a very fine explanation. Now, explaining the first category, Buddha says that what is the deed that is dark and dark in result? He says that if a person does a deed which is harmful, which is very bad, as a result of that deed, he arises, he has a birth in a world that is harm or painful, because he contact harmful things, painful things in that world. He experience harmful feelings. It is just like the beings in the hell. If you go to hell, all the creatures in the hell experience the painful experience, painful feeling, painful contact. Because in the hell, totally, of course, full with the painful things. That is why he mentioned that if you do a bad deed, as a result of that, you may experience bad. Here, after mentioning here, yang karoti tena upapajjati, if a person does something, as a result of that, he get a birth in that particular place. That is why Lord Buddha said, Evang aham kammadayada sattati vadami. That is why I say the creatures are heir to deeds. That means if you are doing a very bad thing, we have to be very careful, because we have to bear the result, what you have done. If it is a bad, then we have to accumulate. We have to accept the bad result. So in this way, not only physical action, but also vocal action and mental action also run in the same manner. Then Lord Buddha explained the second one, the deed that is bright and bright in result. Here he explains that if a person does a good deed which is not harmful, as a result of that deed, he arises in the world that is harmless. Because in that harmless world, he may have a contact with the things which are not harmful. He experiences the feelings with accord to that particular world. It is just like being in the heaven. In the heaven, everything is very pleasant. Everything, of course, make you very happy. So you get a birth in the heaven because of your action, because of your deeds. If your deeds are very good, not harmful, then as a result of that, you may experience in the heavenly feelings, heavenly contacts. So Buddha said that this is the result of your good deed. In the third category, he said, what is the deed that is dark and bright in result? Here, if a person does a deed which is harmful and harmless, that means he does a good deeds as well as bad deeds. As a result of such deeds, he get a birth in a place where you can experience bad as well as good. So those places are nothing but the human world. Manusyaloka. Manusyaloka, as a human being, we experience both sides, good and bad. So he mentioned that you may have a birth in human world by doing good and bad deeds. And also certain deities in the heaven, and also some beings in the sorrowful state, Vinipata. So they get this kind of birth because of doing bad deeds as well as good deeds. So again he emphasized that the human beings are, of course, heir of his own deeds. So this is the third category. The fourth category is a special category. What is the fourth category? That is not dark and not bright, and neither dark nor bright in result. Now, here Lord Buddha emphasized a very particular philosophy. Now, here Buddha said that if a person has a thought, getting rid of all those deeds which are dark or which are bright, which are dark and bright, he tries to destroy all such deeds. That means he is not doing good deeds. He is not doing bad deeds. He tried to destroy the root cause of doing deeds in this section. That is very special. Buddha says that in one occasion, the Chetanaham Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami. Volition is the kamma. Volition is formed by selfish thoughts. These selfish thoughts are formed by psychic factors. So all the psychic factors which comes under category of this, he in fourth category, he tried to eliminate this. In one occasion, Buddha very clearly mentioned that Yam Bhikkhave Loba Pakatang Kammang Lobajang Loba Nidhanang Tang Kammang Akusalam. The deed made by desire, the deed that is arose from desire, that caused by desire is unwholesome. So Buddha very emphatically mentioned that some bad actions are formed by three psychic factors: lobha, desire, then dosa, the hatred, then moha, the ignorance. So these three psychic factors are helpful to generate bad deeds. So in the fourth category, the person is trying to understand this, and they wanted to eliminate this. In Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha very clearly mentioned that monks, there are three causes which prevent the arising of deeds. What three? Desire for things in future as well as present in time is not generated. How is such desire is not generated? One fully understand the future result of things which is past, which is present, which is future. Now, Lord Buddha very clearly mentioned that a person, if he wants to destroy this karma, what he has to do is that he has to think of the past deeds, the result of past deeds, and he has to think of the present deeds, result of the present deeds, and he has to think of the future deeds and result of future deeds. Now, if you try to see these deeds as well as result of these deeds, you find that this is harmful, this is harmless. Then, if it is harmful, you try to eliminate it. You try to avoid that particular action. So here, the Buddha tried to emphasize that you need to have the mindfulness about your own action, about your own words, about your own thoughts. If you are mindful, then you know what is going on. You know the result of the bad psychic factors. So if you can do in this manner, as a result of this, you can stop doing bad action. You can stop doing even the meritorial deeds. In this regard, you try to meditate and you try to eliminate all the bad psychic factors, that is lobha, dosa and moha. Thereby, you can stop or eliminate producing new karma. So, in this particular sutta, it mentioned three factors that we have to keep in mind. One is that if you hold a wrong view, as a result of that, you may get a very bad destination. You may have a very bad rebirth in animal kingdom or in the hell. This is one point. Second thing is that you have to be very careful about your own action. Select your action. Avoid the bad action because it give a result to experience in the bad places like hell and the animal kingdom. So you have to do only good, and also you have to be mindful, and thereby you have to develop your mind, and you should try to establish purity in the mind. So thereby you can have a very pleasant rebirth, as well as you can stop having the samsaric existence. May you all be happy.
Buddhist sermon. Buddhist sermon was delivered by Venerable Professor Kollupitiye Mahinda Sangarakkita Nayaka Tero.